less than 2 weeks ago, regulators visited Joe Biden and the White House, telling them that the U.S. financial system and the large banks are in good shape. Remain calm, all is well. But what about quantitative easing? What about how the Federal Reserve's balance sheet is up about $800 billion since early January? Remain calm, all is well. But what about how reverse repo is now almost at $1 trillion per day? And we have Stephen Van Meter making videos claiming that the Fed's going to have to sacrifice the stock market to save the banks. Remain calm, all is well. But what about a new permanent repo facility that the Fed is talking about implementing very, very soon, where hedge funds, family offices, real estate investment trusts, and money market funds can post bad collateral and borrow directly from the Fed, and the Fed's going to guarantee all this bad collateral that the other counterparties probably don't want anymore. Remain calm, all is well. What about the Fed claiming that they're going to raise interest rates in the next 18 to 24 months when $30 trillion in global debt, that's corporate debt and government debt, has been added that mathematically can't be paid back and it can't even be serviced anymore, and yet more debt keeps being added? Remain calm, all is well. So if you weren't familiar with that, remain calm, all is well, I added in some gags from Kevin Bacon when he was in Animal House, his character, and he got trampled by the crowd. He was like a ROTC military guy who had just signed up to fight in Vietnam. His character got trampled in that scene in the comedy Animal House while he was still trying to scream repeatedly, remain calm, all is well. So that's how I feel that this is in this situation, where you have regulators telling Joe Biden, remain calm, all is well. Meanwhile, you have reverse repo spiking. Meanwhile, you have the Fed's balance sheet starting to rapidly increase again. And you have all this debt exploding in size and amount. No one learned anything from any of the mistakes over the last 12 years. And that's why this entire system is a fiat currency and credit Ponzi scheme that keeps growing and growing and growing. Welcome to dystopia. So this is pure propaganda, probably, to release a press release like this, claiming how good the financial system is. If banks and the financial system were in such good shape, the Fed's balance sheet wouldn't have to keep growing at the rate it is. The Fed's balance sheet wouldn't have to buy $2.3 trillion in mortgage-backed securities. Tons and tons of examples of problems in the financial system. But guess what? Stocks are going up. So all is well. Of course, I'm being sarcastic about how all is well just because stocks are going up. That's asset price inflation. We have home prices that are up 24% in the last 12 or so months here in the US. So tons and tons of examples of the Cantillon effect and asset price inflation and stagflate tax lie. And the average person is going to keep believing politicians and the government. Although more and more people are waking up, it's still a slow process because there is decades of brainwashing that has to be undone. Finally, if you like content like this and want to help keep content like this free so it doesn't all end up behind a paywall, or you want more in-depth research content, information, financial education, and analysis, there is over 170 articles, charts, and audio podcasts behind the paywall for my patrons for only $5 a month, including 14 new articles out in the last 6 or so weeks on a lot of interesting topics about global macro, companies, and sectors. A lot more in-depth than I can provide in these free videos, all for the cost of a bad cup of coffee. If you do not like the content behind the paywall, you can always cancel, although I think you're really going to like it. I think the value behind the paywall is some of the best out there in my space, and it is a big bargain for the price that I'm charging.